The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It's another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. And of course, it's a start of the new week. We just go on with optimism as we expect that the new week will bring us good tidings. Without taking much of your time, I'm your usual regular host, George Agba, and of course with me here in the studio, our panelists, very vibrant security analyst. We have David Taka.
Good evening and welcome to the show.
We have Ejike.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And the big issue of the day is terror alert as the Nigerian government wallows in denial. The federal government of Nigeria has remained in constant denial about the travel advisories issued by some foreign embassies to their personnel in Nigeria, urging its citizens and other residents to go about their business without fear or panic. While these countries, including the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Canada, and Denmark, among others,
Australia.
have urged their citizens to leave Nigeria and then to avoid certain places. The Nigerian government has insisted that the travel advisories and the terror alerts raised by this country was an unnecessary hype. The National Security Advisor, Baba Gana Munguno, and the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, have constantly insisted that the advisories issued by this country was needless. And the IGP at the weekend alleged conspiracy by these foreign countries while insisting that the police or other security agencies were not informed about the terror alerts issued by this country before they were announced. But while this was going on, the same federal government of Nigeria has been putting up measures to preempt any impending attack in the country. Today, President Muhammadu Buhari summoned a security meeting of the service chiefs and other security chiefs, which probably is ongoing at the presidential villa. And of course, we see operatives of the DSS, the police, the army, and some special forces flooding Abuja with roadblocks mounted in strategic places, or to preempt the terror alert issued by this country. Educate, we all know the issues and we see what has been going on. The residents of the FCT have been living in fear in the past days since this country issued this alert. But the Inspector General of Police said it was a conspiracy by these countries. But at the same time, he said the force is not actually taking anything to chance. They started probing the incident. How would you describe this kind of situation? That foreign countries that we consider as superpower, with all their sophisticated technologies, security gadgets, will raise such an alarm. And the Nigerian government, the police in this case, saying that it's a conspiracy, that they were not informed. How can you come to Nigeria and start raising an alarm in its own territory and then without informing the government, the security forces of that country?
Yeah, Mr. George, I think I rather approach this case in a different angle. I think it's fundamental that we understand that this security issue, this particular alert, is both political and non-political. It's a normal thing. Thank God you say they are putting everything in place to ensure it doesn't happen. It's a normal thing for you to have security alert once in a while in every country. In fact, America is even worse. Every day, one person can go into a school and shoot 10 people, 20 people. So I think they are even more prone to the case than Nigeria. But when you come to a country like Nigeria and a situation that because we don't have the certification of America, anything they say we believe. I don't want to believe that. I think I would rather rubbish that out because remember when the issue of COVID came, Europe, America came and say Africa will be the worst hit. We don't have this, we don't have that. Data has shown that we cluster together and this thing will kill people. There will be dead bodies on the road. At the end of the day, it was worse in Europe and America than it was in Africa. We know the story of COVID and we survived it. 2015 was the case that after this election that was coming up with why do I need to believe that? This is not the first time.
In this case, they didn't just raise them. They started evacuating most of them. See, that is the problem. They need to prove to you that this alert, we are not just raising it, we are also afraid we are moving our country south. Let me tell you, I have privileged information about this case. I have deeper information that people may not have. There was something that happened in a foreign, I don't want to mention the name, but in a foreign office in Nigeria, where something was seen and assumed to be a bomb. Police ordinances were called and they checked it and they discovered that it wasn't a bomb. The country's expert came and tested it and discovered that it wasn't a bomb. That particular equipment was evacuated. At the end of the day, this country still went on to team up with UK, US, and co and raise alerts. What is the evidence that you're moving your people out of the country? It's not my problem. It can be because you want to be paying hazard allowance. We can also argue that you're trying to prove to your country that you're working. You're raising an alert and you're moving your people. Why didn't you? They have an interface. In security organizations, they have regional interface where they interface on a WhatsApp group. If I must say, they have a WhatsApp group where they interface, where if they get any information, they interface on the regional level. On the world level, they have that group. Nigeria is there, US is there, all of them. In Nigeria, I'm not talking about international. In Nigeria here, you didn't raise this alarm there. You didn't discuss it with anybody, not the NSA, not the DSS, who is in charge of internal security, not the police, and you just send out information that caused a whole panic within the last 2 weeks. And you want Nigeria to, and thank God, up until this moment, nothing has happened. Why is it that nothing has happened? That's why they are not. So please let us look at this thing carefully and let us be careful about it. We know that America, UK, they have equipment, they are better than us in equipment and all this. But it's not everything they say that we should take seriously, please. Thank you, EJK. David, you've heard what EJK has said, and of course, one wouldn't even bother, would have really not begin to ask you about the military, because I would have wanted to say with all their formations, defense, intelligence, directorate, and the rest, other countries are the ones that will come and now tell us that look, there's terror in the land.
There's one thing. Even when this whole thing, when it broke, we called. In fact, I was at a point. The man had to ask me, David, are you the one that bought this one for me? I said, there's something we need to discuss. Then he now said, how sure am I that they've shared this intelligence with them and they've refused to act on it? He said, this thing, security advisory is a normal, it's supposed to be a normal thing. Now, if it is a normal thing, so why the panic? Because we don't trust our government. Because there are instances when the Kaduna train happened, they said they were alert, but it wasn't acted upon. So people now saw all these things, and then instead, even when the government said no cause for alarm, people never believed them. Then you panic. But the angle, if they had informed our security agencies and they failed to act, that is one thing I don't know. where there's loss of trust between them.
Then, yeah.
Because he said they have the WhatsApp where they interface. Fine. Even in I know we have Chief of Defense Intelligence, a Major General. He's in charge of that department. He coordinates that kind of intelligence. Now, you said there's an impending attack on the city center. This is Abuja. All these agencies, they are here with their families. But of course, Nigeria is not at war yet. And then a terror attack is raised. If we had confidence in our security agencies, of course, we won't panic like this. Because on a very normal day, there's no country that will not issue advisories. They will tell you, even in your house, there are times you tell your children, if I'm not the one, don't open. Don't you do it. That means you're being security conscious. In August, there was an attack on the gas brigade in Buhari, and then they raided the various bushes and around. They arrested a lot of people. Of course, we know bandits, they are coming in. But why are we having all these challenges? When the train something happened, when HK said, even in the US, somebody will go to school and shoot. When the person shoot, do they go scot-free? The person is arrested and charged immediately. We have cases in Nigeria. Why we don't trust the government is very simple. If the government has failed 1 to 3 persons, I won't wait for it to happen to me. A whole train, somebody will attack a rail line, kidnap how many people, stay with them in the bush for it's over 6 months, negotiate, collect ransom, nobody has been arrested. And then you expect people to trust that kind of government. That's the challenge we have now. The foreign embassies, whatever intentions they have, why the Nigerians panic? When I even gist with you, when I ask a lot of persons, so why the panic? They'll tell me, I don't trust the government. You ask some government officials, why did you go to work today? I don't trust the government. They say the country is, and they do not, and of course, I accept with them.
Well,
I accept.
Thank you very much. Well, we'll quickly take a short break, hoping that our viewers will begin to contribute constructively to the conversation on the big issue by their way of comment. And as we come back from this short interval, we hope to see the views of Nigerians to the conversation on the big issue. Don't go offline, we'll be back in a moment.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We are still on the big issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is the terror alerts issued by foreign embassies and the constant denial by the Nigerian government. Well, Ejike, you've actually heard what Emitaka says, and he seems to be disagreeing with you. At the end of the day, what would you expect Nigerians to do? Why won't they live in constant fear when at the end of the day, it does not have confidence in its own government? Especially when you begin to look at it from the background that the same United States that left its country came, which state was that? When they came, rescued one of its citizens.
It was in Nigeria, in Chad. Yeah. They came to Chad there to rescue their citizens.
Their citizen.
Now, something happened within that period. Why the much panic? On the 21st of this month, it was on a Friday, around noon, 2-3 thereabouts. They dismantled roadblocks leading to the city. I'm not talking about the ones here. You know, when you were coming from Kaduna to Abuja, they dismantled. You're coming from, Now, so I'm coming from Kaduna to Abuja. There's no roadblock. Somebody raised the land. I called somebody whom I know that stays along this. The guy told me, okay, here they've asked us to step aside. I said, why? He said, there was no reason. And I said, can you help me get across to other places? Let's find out something. He told me, yes. On the 28th, the roadblocks were returned. And I said, is there any official signal? He said there was. They just told them, step aside. What was it? You expect your people to still trust. See, a lot of things don't just go. The government has to start thinking of how do we get the people involved in this governance so that they can trust us. You want them to give you information. Of course, you want information, but you're not, that trust is not there between you and them. You need to let them know that I am here for you. That relationship is not there. There's a gap.
If I must comment, I think we are missing the point. We are not arguing.
So that was why the
panic. That was why
people
trust or not. What we're trying to agree here is, and David is not disagreeing.
I know I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying
is driving another point of trust issue. What we are talking about,
if we had trusted them, we wouldn't panic.
What
David is saying is that for the situation on the ground and with the kind of government we have, it will be
easier
for the citizens to believe those countries than to believe its government.
They believe them already.
Let me learn.
Instead of trust, saying our government said no cost for alarm.
About the case of alerts,
it's a normal thing.
When we're talking about what I discussed was the alert,
yes,
and how it came about.
Yes,
we're not going into
and I said it's normal.
Trust or no trust.
And I said it's normal.
Now, the alert, the process at which it was raised,
but the channel is just
totally wrong. Internationally, it's wrong.
The channel
in Nigeria, in US now, Nigerian embassy cannot go after that shooting. And okay, let's even talk about this week. Last week, the husband of the House of Red Speaker, was even attacked at home.
And okay, let me.
It's enough. Wait, it's enough for Nigerians to.
They've arrested the invader, the attacker.
Oh, David, wait.
They've arrested the guy.
Let's get
Why is it taking us edges?
Don't worry.
Wait, let's talking about this.
Let's get educated.
It's enough for Nigerians to just wake up and raise security alert in the US. Be careful. Don't go out. If this man can be attacked, anybody can be attacked. Of course. The Nigerians don't do that. Other countries don't do that. Because we don't want a situation whereby we start creating panic. Now you said police are code said is a gang
conspiracy.
Why won't you believe them? Why in Nigeria now nobody has established that these issues were discussed with any agency in Nigeria.
In fact,
even the US government did not say they told Nigeria, and Nigeria did not believe. They did not say that. So that is why they are saying that this is a gang. How can you foreigners just come together and start releasing alerts in our country without first telling the security agencies, and you have access?
But what of all these bombs they say they discovered?
We're coming to that. Let's go point by point. Let's go point by point. Now, no, substantiating US government, if they had even they told Nigeria, they will tell you they told Nigerian government, and Nigeria will not do anything.
No, he's talking about discovering bombs.
No, that's what we're coming to that now. Now, the information I have about that bomb is that there was no bomb that was discovered anywhere.
I followed
the police who denied that
I checked unofficial.
DSS officially said there was no bomb. Army, no bomb. They say army and police are US. Army and DSS are US. Went to review. And all of them have denied. Even the US did not say there was a bomb. Even in that, they just spread it.
Well,
that's why we say that's the risk of raising alerts without following due channel. It's true we don't trust our government, but don't come and create more problems for us. Had it been you follow the due channel, people, somebody on the internet raised that thing that bomb was discovered in Trademark State. Somebody wrote it, and it's because of the alert that was already on ground. The person that wrote it, everybody started to believe it. The much I know about that is that there was a raid in Trademark State, where there were suspects that were thought to have bomb and everything. And when they entered, the US was not there. Let us just clarify that. Nigeria Army, DSS handled it, and police. They entered there, they arrested the guy, and they checked everything and they did not see the bomb. It could also be a problem of false information. Somebody could have given the information falsely. See, I'm trying to tell you that This alert they raised, DSS raised one in December.
Yeah.
Open your eye, there's alert. They may attack the city everywhere.
Yes.
Worship center. March they did that. May they did that.
And I think
August,
they even,
so-
they,
so
I think
that's
I remember
why-
the one they did, and they even named that some powerful governors too were behind.
So
That's why I said
Alert
it's not a new thing.
The challenge, the greatest problem we had is that this
We
foreign
trusted a
countries
foreign
came in and raised their alert
And we-
without following our. Let me even tell you.
and we
Even
we
US
trusted them.
government and UK had even done it with DSS and co.
Mm.
Should have been believed more. And even Nigerian government couldn't have denied it.
Well, David, let me tell you something. I think I am beginning to understand what Ejike is saying, because there are, and as much as majority of the Nigerians are in panic, there are a microscopic few sympathetic to the government who are bringing one particular point I want us to look at here. You see, most of them, there are those who say the terror alert may not be unconnected with the onslaught on oil thieves. Because when they started clamping down on oil thieves and the discovery of that pipeline on escravos that they were now siphoning oil, and even the legal pipeline, they said it has the oil theft on our legal pipeline had been going on for the past 9 months. That was
9 years.
9 years, I mean to say, since that Jonathan
And there's
period
still
till
over
now.
800 million barrels.
Barriers. You see, so that at the end of the day, most of these oil thefts have been linked to some of these foreign countries who connive with criminal
Some of these
Nigerians.
criminals to do it.
To
Because
do
these ships come into Nigeria.
And because you see, for instance, that escravos, how to get into that thing and get down here is not just kind of an operation that you expect local. It requires some foreign.
Of course.
Not,
of
so
course.
at the end of the day, it was since when they started clamping down on these oil thieves, and these countries were not happy again, that they have discovered how they siphon oil from the country. That is why they started raising this alarm.
And in support to that argument, you also remember that they raised this alarm in South Africa. They say also terror alert. That's what.
Yes.
What was the case? What did South Africa do? Simply because a Russian billionaire came into South Africa, and US sent a signal, arrest him and detain him. A Russian billionaire who is a friend to Putin, USA arrest him and detain him. South Africa said no, we can't arrest him. The yacht, he came in the yacht. The yacht had no criminal record. There is nothing incriminating. The man does not have anything that will make us arrest him. Why are we arresting? They say because he's a friend to Putin, and Putin is fighting Ukraine. South Africa said they are not. Anything that is happening between Putin and Ukraine should be handled there. If the man comes in and does anything wrong, we arrest him. But for the fact that he came in, he's a free man. He has a visa. He can come in and go. And immediately, America was not happy. And you also remember that recently, African countries have been tilting towards Asia and co in terms of investment and everything. Both construction companies, CCC and all of them are coming up here. Unlike before, where we depend on America and Europe for everything. These things, these European countries, America, they will continue to make sure that you are under them economically, politically, and everything. Every country colonized by France, till today, France is still directly controlling them. So about 14 of them don't have central bank. They operate with central bank in France, and they print their currency and everything there. It doesn't happen in West Africa and Co. So we need to understand the political dimensions to all these things. And you are raising alarm, you are evacuating as if the war has started. In Ukraine, people are still there. Even when bombs are landing everywhere, people are still there throwing their own dynamite. And people are not dying as we are saying. So the alert is unnecessary. It may be good.
Issue of oil theft.
You can hear it now, because at the end of the day, he's making a valid
Bring
point here.
a political.
So in South Africa, terror alert was raised too.
Yes.
Yes, I see how the South African government.
You tied all this whole thing. He's telling you the political dimensions to this, and you're bringing the economic.
Yes, and
tussle.
the oil theft. This one is
Now,
it's not as if it's a
I've
that
been
is alleged.
I've been to
There are Nigerians out there who are actually.
I've been to the creeks, and I remember on this show, this platform, I told you that there's no way any vessel can come into Nigeria and move oil without our knowledge.
Of course.
I keep saying,
Navy must know.
unless our people are compromised,
Yes.
and then they are the ones doing whatever evil they are doing to their country. Because when you look at the number of there's what the Nigerian Navy call boat houses, strategic locations. So how will you, as the vessel is coming, they must see and search. So how would you now pass? That was before. Okay, that was before this Falcon Eye came, the platform that they now use to monitor the whole of our water bodies. Before the Falcon Eye, they had those ship houses, boat houses. So with this boat house, with men armed, there's nothing they don't have on that house.
Now we have Falcon Eye.
Now the Falcon Eye.
As soon as you step your feet on Nigerian waters,
the Falcon Eye has they have seen you.
And these ships that carry this oil will come and stay. It's not one day. So the list is 10 to 12 days before you feel that ship
Before it leaves.
So
everybody.
And when you're coming, when you get clearance from NNPC, then the Navy will allow you to approach the loading point. If anything happens contrary, of course, somebody has to answer.
Of course, when you are doing it, whether international,
somebody has to answer.
Everybody will be involved.
Somebody has to answer. So, issue of oil, of course, you can't come to this country and steal oil without Nigerians knowing. If you're able to play ball very well, of course, we know. Since there's that gap between the government and its people. So anybody can still come in and just do whatever they want to do and get. But I'm glad that the war is now. I kept saying what they arrest is not the oil thieves. I kept saying it even when I went there. When I did my article, I said these are not the thieves. The main thieves are elsewhere, maybe part of the government, because this is an organized crime. When you look at the investment, you know that there is no way you can run an illegal refining site with less than 10 million. So you can't expect somebody who is struggling to get 100,000, 200,000, or 50,000, or this 500,000 to run that kind of a syndicate. No, it's not possible. So there's more for the oil theft. The oil theft is more. There's more to it than meets the eye. So of course, when you're fighting this kind of this, of course they'll fight back. It's just like fighting you're fighting a drug war. You're fighting the syndicate is very big. It's a big market. So they of course they have the resources at hand. So they'll fight you. They can even buy some of your agents. There's no drug law or anything that does not have government agents on their payroll. They pay them. So they tell them whatever they want to do.
Well, I think time is actually not on our side, but whether the terror alert raised by this country is biased and is born out of malice, it is left for Nigeria to understand that naturally we are living in a country where security challenges has actually crippled the economy, frustrated so many things. And of course, just like, we even have, we'll see some comments coming from our viewers there. We have Leo Francis Igwe. Leo Francis Igwe is saying, if you love your life, make a move. The same government where prison and army barracks are raided by terrorists. You see what...
I was talking about the lack of trust.
He said that at the end of the day, how can you trust this government? We were here, they came, broke Kuje prison.
Until date, they've not told Nigerians, they've not explained
in Kaduna and the rest.
They've not come to give account.
And the government has not even come.
How will you win the
trust?
Not
seen any conviction and the rest. I would say we should doubt this country. AJK, you can imagine what one of our viewers, his own kind of, that whatever the case is, we should not trust this same government.
Anyway, the personal opinion, I understand this. I understand his point. It's true that so many things have come and gone.
We need to address those
things.
Yes,
but for raising alerts on a country, and you quickly
sharing such
it will
intelligence
not lead me to start thinking that you're superior.
No.
I'm not arguing
the
about
issue is my concern is
this particular one.
Yes, that is not the alarm that is the problem, but the manner in which
you did it. We have been raising alarm.
If the government had a close relationship with its people, the alarm wouldn't have created this kind of chaos. The chaos is just the gap is just what worries me
That
more.
no
When you
matter
ask
what-
anybody,
that even if these foreign
The trust
countries
is
were
not
wrong,
it's not there.
the
So we
trust
need to start building that trust.
on our own government.
We
is
need to
even
start
what
building
is
that trust. The government has to
aggravating the
deliberately
situation.
build that trust.
Well, that is the much we can take for this today's edition of the big issue. Of course, in as much as we probe the alert raised by this country, government response, and the motive behind it, Nigerians still have to be on the alert. Have to be careful to avoid any form of attack, because it's still impending attacks. Anything can happen, whether the alarm raised by these foreign embassies are true or not. We should not forget that we still live in a country where insecurity reigns supreme. Well, thank you for keeping tab with us out there, and of course, I'll thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.